The election is not until 2025, yet Tiffany Henyard has officially decided she wants to stay as mayor despite the cloud of controversy surrounding
business in Dolton Township, which hit a roadblock tonight, not because of the weather, not because of logistics, but because two trustees refused.
Imagine a crowded Dolton Township meeting brimming with angry residents, political opponents, and of course the ever-dramatic Tiffany Henyard. But here's the twist. Two important trustees, Christopher Gonzalez and Carmen Carlisle, weren't there. Why? They were boycotting the meeting, claiming a lack of transparency. They accused Henyard of advancing her personal agenda without proper oversight. As a result, with no quorum, the meeting couldn't proceed. No decisions, no votes, just Tiffany giving a fiery, impassioned speech.
She is endorsing a new board, but not announcing who they are just yet, instead promising to name them later this month. Henyard is under investigation by the...
Now let's break down Tiffany's monologue, because it wasn't just a speech. It was a full-on performance. She didn't hold back, taking direct shots at her critics, accusing them of playing judge and alleging a grand conspiracy to bring her down. When I sue everybody because I'm coming, no one will come for defaming my name and character in this conspiracy to destroy Tiffany Henyard, she declared, threatening lawsuits left and right as she defended her controversial decisions. As usual, she turned to Facebook Live, broadcasting nearly an hour of self-defense, attacking her opponents, and leaving everyone wondering if her true focus was on serving the community or protecting her own reputation.
Up early because two trustees, as you mentioned, did not show up, Chris Gonzalez and Carmen Carlisle. Without them, not enough board members were present to make a...
Now, let's dive into the banner controversy, those massive signs plastered with Tiffany Henyard's face, proudly calling her the super mayor. Recently, they were removed by workers after trustees claimed the banners were unauthorized and unpaid for. Predictably, Henyard wasn't pleased, going as far as calling the police and accusing the workers of stealing government property. Meanwhile, the vendor responsible for the banners says they're still owed nearly $20,000. As always, Henyard turned what could have been a minor issue into a major spectacle. But it doesn't stop there. The bigger controversy centers around her possible attempt to seize control of Dolton's real estate market. She's been pushing a program called Block by Block, which she claims helps residents buy properties at discounted prices. On the surface, it sounds great, but not everyone is convinced. Critics argue that it's a way for Henyard to selectively distribute properties, potentially favoring her political allies. Trustee Jason House didn't hold back, labeling the initiative highway robbery, after it was revealed that the village wouldn't see any revenue from the program. When a trustee openly accuses the mayor of stealing from the community, you know things are spiraling out of control.
Henyard actually has two political jobs on two public payrolls, as mayor of South Suburban Dolton, or as she...
The Block by Block program has raised increasing concerns due to its lack of transparency. Residents have been requesting detailed information on who is benefiting from the initiative, but their demands are reportedly being ignored. In fact, no one knows who is actually receiving the properties. During a recent board meeting, one frustrated resident pointed out that, for all anyone knows, these properties could be going to Henyard's friends or individuals who will owe her favors in the future. This has led to growing speculation that the program is less about helping the residents of Dolton and more about increasing Henyard's grip on the community. Some critics have even suggested that it's a way for the mayor to reward political allies, especially with the upcoming election looming. The lack of transparency and the rumors of favoritism have fueled suspicions that there's more to this program than meets the eye.
Pay me what you owe me.
The Block by Block program has become even more controversial due to a lack of financial oversight. Trustees have raised concerns about how the program is funded, with some accusing Tiffany Henyard of diverting money from other village budgets to support it. In a tense meeting, trustee Jason House demanded access to the financial records of the program, but his request was met with resistance. "We can't keep writing blank checks for these pet projects," he said, stressing that residents deserve to know how their tax dollars are being spent. Henyard, however, has dismissed these concerns, defending the program as legitimate and accusing her critics of trying to derail her efforts. Meanwhile, her spending habits have come under further scrutiny after a financial investigation launched by former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot. The investigation revealed that the village's general fund, which had a surplus of over $5 million, had plummeted to a deficit of nearly $4 million in just 2 years. Where did all that money go? Reports suggest that some of it was spent on extravagant items using the village credit card, including tens of thousands of dollars at Amazon, Target, and for luxury goods. One particularly jaw-dropping expense was a single $43,000 charge at Amazon in one day. These questionable expenditures are only intensifying the growing criticism of Henyard's financial management and raising doubts about whether the block-by-block program is truly benefiting the residents of Dolton.
To hear these things or to kind of see some of the receipts that appear to be connected to it, and I think the taxpayers really deserve.
And if you think things couldn't get worse, just wait until you hear about the parties. Tiffany Henyard has earned a reputation for throwing lavish events that are often marketed as community gatherings, but many residents see them as little, more than a tool for self-promotion. One memorable Valentine's Day event featured extravagant igloos, live performances from R&B music, and chants of Super Mayor ringing through the crowd. Then, there's the infamous skating rink, which cost the village a staggering $2 million and is said to only open when Henyard is hosting one of her personal events. Critics argue that these extravagant parties do little to foster community unity and everything to boost Henyard's public image. After all, what better way to distract from the village's financial troubles than by putting on a spectacle? These events seem to be serving as a diversion from the growing concerns about Dolton's financial management and Henyard's questionable spending practices.
Which we're going to speak before the Revenue Committee to give everybody $5,000 on their income tax.
Residents have begun referring to Henyard's public events as vanity showcases, feeling they prioritize her personal image over the community's benefit. For example, a resident who attended the Valentine's Day event described it as more of a private party for the mayor than a community gathering. Some claims suggest these events were funded without proper approval, leading to financial issues that trustees had to address. Trustee Kiana Belcher has criticized these events, arguing that they focus more on Henyard's ego than Dolton's development. While Henyard's supporters say the events foster community engagement, critics argue that the cost is too steep for a village already burdened with debt. Additionally, Henyard frequently uses social media, particularly Facebook Live, to promote her events. While some appreciate her transparency, others believe these broadcasts fuel drama rather than offer true openness. In one controversial video, Henyard accused her critics of launching a campaign to bring her down, claiming, "They don't want to see me win because I'm a young black woman in power." Some found this empowering, while others saw it as an attempt to distract from concerns about her leadership.
Using public funds for something that taxpayer dollars shouldn't be.
The controversies surrounding Henyard continue to intensify. She is now facing an eviction lawsuit after allegedly falling behind on rent payments for several months at her Dolton home. Her landlord, Janetta Hall, claims that Henyard and her boyfriend owe over $5,000 in back rent and even changed the locks to prevent her from accessing the property. The real kicker? Despite earning nearly $300,000 annually from her dual roles as mayor and supervisor, Henyard reportedly told her landlord that she couldn't afford a $200 rent increase. This has raised serious concerns about her financial priorities.
Are having the security detail. We asked how long.
As if things weren't already heated enough, the FBI has now gotten involved. Federal agents have issued subpoenas to both Dolton and Thornton Township, seeking records tied to Henyard's spending and business practices. Though the investigation is still ongoing, the fact that the FBI is involved has shaken the community to its core. Residents are calling for answers, but Henyard is standing her ground, claiming she's the victim of a smear campaign. Why all this attention on Tiffany Henyard? What are they trying to hide while they distract us over here? She said, refusing to back down. Despite all the controversies, Henyard is pushing forward with her re-election campaign. She's running for a second term and believes she'll win in a landslide, positioning herself as the underdog fighting for justice, while doubling down on her so-called accomplishments. But not everyone is on her side. Trustee Jason House, who's running against her, has called her bid ridiculous and promised to bring order back to the village. Meanwhile, the community remains split. Some view Henyard as a trailblazer, while others brand her the worst mayor in America. The comment section is filled with intense reactions. One user commented, "Miss Tiffany, you're absolutely right. The community does despise you," while another said, "She never fails to disappoint, and what's obvious is her blatant theft, lies, and ignorance. What's even more shocking is that she thinks that hair looks good." Henyard's leadership has clearly struck a nerve. So, what does this mean for Dolton? The town is at a crossroads. On one side, a mayor more focused on self-promotion than serving the people, and on the other, residents eager for change but unsure how to make it happen. With the upcoming election, Dolton faces a tough choice. Will they choose change or stick with a leadership that's familiar but deeply flawed? The bigger question remains, how much longer can Henyard hold on to power before things come crashing down? What do you think? Has she earned her bad reputation? Or is she just the most notorious mayor in America?